Steve, Gretchen?
Thank you, Brian. The state of Texas is apparently going to tell the TSA hands off. The Lone Star State is pushing legislation to stop TSA pat-downs at airports unless there is probable cause. The TSA's response? It basically told Texas, you can't touch that.
If the bill passes, Texas could become the first state with a law restricting TSA security techniques. Texas State Representative David Simpson is the author and sponsor of the bill, and he's our guest this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Gretchen.
Good morning.
I think a lot of people hearing about this would initially say, yeah, I think we might be in favor of that because if you've gone through this pat-down, you maybe have found it to be a little too intimate. But my question this morning is, why are we going after the TSA agent? They're just doing their job.
Well, they're the people that are violating our citizens, and our job is to protect them, to protect their dignity, their freedom of travel. The government's going a little too far. Those blue gloves are wandering in places they shouldn't. They're putting their hands in our pants and up our skirts. A sexual assault is what this would be in any other context, and we should stop it.
Okay, David, doesn't the Fed, though, trump the state? I mean, you can come up with that rule, but if the TSA is going to say this is what we're going to do, generally that's what happens.
Well, I'm glad the feds are interested in the Constitution because it applies to them. The Fourth Amendment is to protect us from unreasonable searches by the government, and this is what this is.
But so let me ask you this. Are you going after the individual TSA agent to try and get the federal government's attention on it then? Because really, you know, some guy or gal who's just trying to earn a paycheck to go home, they're just doing what they're being told they have to do. They probably don't even like doing it.
Well, I agree with you. I don't think they would. I'm sure there's some that probably do, and they certainly should be stopped. The point of this legislation is to draw a reasonable line where searches without probable cause should stop. You know, we've got to either do it with our private parts or we've got to have to do it with a body cavity. We've gone from stopping pocket knives. Then we stopped, we took off our shoes when we had the shoe bomber.
Right.
Then we had the underwear bombers. They started sticking their hands in our pants.
You're right.
If we have a terrorist with an explosive in a body cavity, are we going to have a colonoscopy?
Well, that's exactly what the worry is. Meanwhile, the TSA, sir, responded this way. They say the pat-down is a highly effective tool to resolve certain alarms and keep these dangerous items off of planes that could cause catastrophic damage. Now, that is probably true, but you're saying they're just going way too far.
Well, they are. And in their scanners even, 5 times in 1 week at the DFW airport, an undercover agent went through there and they were not detected with a handgun. Their measures are not effective. In fact, only about 3% of the people even are patted down.
Right.
And so their emphasis is in the wrong place. We need to put the emphasis on the metal detectors and explosive sniffing dogs and things that are effective.
I think a lot of people agree with you. I just think that they might be hesitant to have the poor worker get in trouble instead of the government get in trouble for the whole thing. But we got to go.
Well, I agree with that.
Okay, let me get your response to that, because I think that's the important part of this story.
Well, I think they'll change their procedures and stop them from touching us in our private parts, and so they won't be charged.
Okay.
Well, if that results, job well done. David Simpson, Texas Representative, we thank you, sir, for joining us today from the state capital of Texas, Austin. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Coming up, a high court's bombshell decision. Police no longer need a warrant before storming your home. Will that decision really stand up?
I hope not. Then